Last time Jon Gosselin was on the show, the former reality star shocked the world when he opened up about his battle with COVID-19 and revealed that he had not told his ex-wife, Kate Gosselin, or their 6 estranged kids about his hospitalization. Shortly after that interview, Jon was hospitalized again. Today, the former Jon and Kate +8 star is here, detailing his second major health scare in months and the big changes his family is going through now. The past 6 months have proven to be a trying time for former reality star Jon Gosselin. In September, his son Colin alleged on social media that Jon beat him, punched him in the face, and kicked him in the ribs. But Jon denied these claims, which were subsequently deemed unfounded by authorities. Jon's daughter Hannah and Colin continue to live with him, and he still holds out hope for a reconciliation with his 6 other children. But in December, Jon's life was put on hold after being hospitalized with COVID-19 and a high fever, where he came frighteningly close to being ventilated. He came on the show to talk exclusively with me about his brush with death, which caused a media firestorm. But until then, his estranged children didn't even know about it. I'm thinking about your kids now. They'll probably see this. What do you want to say to them today?
Just that I love them, and I'm just thinking of future more. I hope they develop a relationship with Hannah and Colin. I hope that one day I can be part of your life. I'm glad that I got a second chance.
But Jon wasn't out of the woods yet. Just a week after we spoke, he went to his doctor with severe leg and chest pain. After getting an ultrasound, he received an urgent call to get to the ER immediately. Jon says what he found out there scared him even more than his COVID diagnosis. Imagine that. Jon Gosselin joins us now exclusively. I understand after our last interview, which I was worried about you when I saw you on the camera, because obviously you couldn't come in yourself. But at the interview, you had an incident in a kitchen, your kitchen. What happened?
Oh, so I just was cooking or squatting down and getting pots and pans, and I just felt really faint, and my legs kept on hurting and hurting and hurting. Even when I came home from the hospital, when I was in for a long time with COVID, I had these leg pains, and I just thought it was like, atrophy. I haven't moved around a lot, but it left my left leg, and I had severe pain in my right leg. But I didn't really have any PCP follow-up, so I called my PCP, and I was just like, I have this pain. Can I have an ultrasound?
Describe the pain. Was it cramping pain?
No, like stabbing.
Stabbing pain.
Yeah, like a continual cramp, like a Charlie horse.
Right.
And I was like, this is worrying me, and I'm like a hypochondriac, so I was like, called them, got an ultrasound. I'm like, hey, while I'm there, can I have a chest X-ray too? I was like doing all my follow-up calls. Mm-hmm. So they did an ultrasound that day, and the girl was like, oh, you want your chest X-ray too? I'm like, sure, I don't have to make another appointment. And then I did that, and I didn't hear anything. Like, you don't get the results right away from the ultrasound because it has to be reviewed. So I'm driving home, I'm almost home, and my PCP calls me. I was like, you have to go back to the hospital. They found a DVT. And I was like, what's that? Yes, I'm calling Colleen, who's a nurse practitioner. What's a DVT? She's like, oh my God, you got to go back to the hospital. So I went back to the ER, and there was no waiting. They just kind of put me in, and then I went through, and they gave me heparin to break up the clot. And
can you explain to everybody, because you're a smart fellow who probably asked a ton of questions when you got to the ER.
A million.
Yeah. So first of all, you said something earlier that I want to highlight for the audience. You said it felt like there was a Charlie horse in your calf.
Right, but it was a focal, like a finite point. I could just point to it and say it hurts. But
if you have that symptom, you should be thinking deep vein thrombosis, because that's one of the ways it will present. And we're going to describe what it is,
right.
But it's going to cause pain in a very focused area. So when you're driving home and your doctor calls you and says, go back to the hospital emergency.
Don't stop, just go back to the
Don't pass go, don't collect $200, head back.
Right.
Always alarming when we are alarmed.
Right.
So you get to the ER, what did they tell you about what they were worried might be happening?
Well, they didn't want to have a pulmonary embolism. You got to remember, too, I'm still on oxygen. So I'm carrying my backpack around.
You're still on oxygen?
Yeah, I'm carrying my backpack around with my, I was on 2 liters then.
Yeah, but still recovering from the COVID lung.
Yeah, and I have a DVT, and I had to park in the parking garage. So I'm like walking through the parking garage, going back to the ER with my oxygen on.
And a blood clot in your leg.
And a blood clot in my leg. So
I never thought of that, Jon, but you're by yourself.
Yeah, I was by myself. because Colleen was working and my mom, was busy, and like I drove myself because I just went to a routine doctor's appointment, didn't think anything of it.
Well, there may have been some inclination in your mind because you called and pestered him. And although you say you're a hypochondriac, I actually think you're pretty savvy about your body.
Right.
Let's look at what's going down. So
Okay.
I want everyone to be on the same
Sure.
page as you are. So this is a very, very concerning discovery. And it is related to the fact that you were lying on your back in the hospital when you were sitting in COVID. So the blood is going through your legs, and when you walk, you're milking the blood. But if you don't move and you're lying on your back for a while, you'll form clots around the valves of your veins. And these clots will cause pain. They'll start to expand in the vein, cause a focused Charlie horse like this, which is what you experience. And then that might fly away if you're walking from the parking lot, for example.
Right.
And goes up the veins in the body, in your belly, all the way into the chest, by the heart, and goes into the lungs, where it will lodge in and block the ability of the body to get oxygen. The heart will have to beat really fast, but very inefficiently. And unfortunately, this happens sometimes. People die from pulmonary emboli. I've witnessed it personally time and time again if they've had major procedures or they've been stuck in a hospital for a while, because the blood is not supposed to be static. It's supposed to be milked around by you
Right.
moving. And when this clot gets into your lungs, we can't get it out.
Yeah.
It's not like you can give extra oxygen. There's no blood going to the lungs to
Right.
meet the oxygen. So you can't breathe for the person. You can't fix it unless you do emergency heart surgery, which most people don't get there in time.
Correct.
So I want to show you what this looks like in real life. I've never done this with you before, but I think I'll show you real organs.
I've never walked around before.
That's right. So I have two sets of organs here. Go ahead and put those gloves on.
Okay.
These are lungs. And lungs, when they're in the chest, are these beautiful pink organs. When you've taken them out, they lose some of that cloud-like appearance.
Right.
But these lungs have something that's very important that I want you to see. So again, you can have the normal lung, and I want you to feel
thanks.
that and just get comfortable with what it might look like. But these are blood vessels on the inside.
Okay.
On this one, you can see these same blood vessels, these white structures that will carry blood into the lungs and go to the different parts of the lungs to bring the nourishment, because you need oxygen to meet with the blood to keep you alive. You see there's small little holes here,
Right.
where the blood vessels are going into the lung. Notice this hole, it's blocked.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
Can you all see that at home, I hope? It's a blocked area there.
It's like a crumb.
Exactly. That little brown stuff that you see there is a clot that is blocking off a big path. This is a pulmonary embolism, a real live pulmonary embolism. I may actually flip it around this way. Maybe it'd be even easier to see it. You can get one close-up shot there. You'll be able to see that little black area inside of there. That's the actual blood clot. And then the brown is material that formed around it that I'm pointing to right here. This blocked off the ability of blood to go down this tube into this lung, which is why this part of the lung is different colored than this part of the lung. Can you all see that color difference? They're all supposed to be the same color, and that's not.
Yeah, like
this is
here.
what a pulmonary embolism does. It blocks off the ability of blood to meet oxygen, which is a catastrophic, unfixable problem, because I can't get in there urgently if
Right.
you're dropping dead.
Exactly. And then when I was in for my...
Feel that, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It was rock hard.
Yeah.
Yep. So when I was in, I lost pain. The pain left my calf.
Ooh.
Then I started freaking out.
Yes.
Because then I got a CT scan. But for that brief moment, I was like,
Is this the
oh,
end?
yeah. Or what am I going to do?
What would have been your biggest regret if you had died in the hospital that day?
My biggest regret would have been changes I made before divorce. I probably still would have got divorced, but I probably would have tried to been like, hey, let's just more stay in contact. Would have been better. I would have made it more adamant, maybe through the court system or something like that. I didn't think that they would never not talk to me. So I thought we'd always be close, but that didn't pan out the way I thought it would pan out. So
Let's talk about that. You can take your gloves off.
sure.
I want to show you what was happening to your lungs and why I think this is a good time in your life to reconnect with the kids, because this is not play anymore. So this is a normal lung.
Right.
You can see it's beautiful and big and full of fluffy lungs. There's your heart in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Normal chest x-ray. This is your x-ray. It does
Right.
not look like this x-ray. When I see that, when I see a blood clot in your calf, these are shots across the bow because you survived. You're off
Correct.
the oxygen now.
Right.
But it makes me concerned that if you don't deal with some of these issues, and I know it's hard to do,
Right.
that you will end up in the hospital one day regretting the fact that you made some decisions before your divorce that have cost you the most precious relationships you have.
Right.
Now, your doctors put you on a blood thinner for this, which
Yeah.
should be enough.
For months.
So hopefully you'll leap past this. Like, you're a resilient guy.
I always come back here with something.
Exactly. You've got a couple
Not like
lives
Evil
left.
Knievel, you know.
You have a seat. Yes, you're the evil Knievel.
I'm the Evil Knievel of the
reality
medical
shows.
world. Yeah.
But I mean, are you physically feeling okay now?
Yeah, I'm good. Like, I had some trouble. So I guess New York redid their train station. There's a lot more stairs and a lot
Yes.
steeper. So stairs are tough for me, and my heart rate elevates super quick. So I can go. My resting is around 89, 82 to 89. I get a top of flight of stairs. It's like 127.
Yeah.
130, like instantaneously. So I still have trouble with stairs, but I work in a 1 million square foot facility.
Yeah.
Like, it takes me a long time to get to the other side.
All right, coming up, has Jon finally broken his silence with his estranged family? Where things stand now. Former Jon and Kate +8 star Jon Gosselin is with us exclusively today. So I want to go back to your family, because when we're sick, it's one of those moments where we really appreciate the people who are dear to us, and we realize that they're the safety net for us as well. So Hannah and Colin live with you.
Correct.
The other 6 kids are with Kate.
Right. Manny and Karen in college.
Manny in college.
And the other 4 are with Kate.
So let's just break them up. So first of all, did you ever hear from any of the kids that were with Kate or in college after it was made public that you had COVID, not just had COVID, but you were deathly ill, could have died?
No, I didn't hear from them. I think Hannah might have told Leah.
From any of them?
No, I haven't heard anything from them.
So why?
There's just a disconnect. There's a complete, whether it's parent alienation or, I can't really reach out to them. And there's legalities. I can't, go to where they move. It would be trespassing and those kind of things. So, I mean, I guess my plight to them, or what I want to say is, I love you. My door is always open. You're welcome anytime. There's no regrets or hard feelings or any of those negative things. And they're always, you can always come see me or come see Hannah and Colin. Colin hasn't seen his mother in years. And Hannah hasn't seen her mother in 2 years or a year. So it's been a long time.
But they're following each other's news, I'm sure, even if they're not seeing them. Like the fact that Kate had the house on the block, selling block for years. In fact, she just sold the house, I'm told, for
Correct.
over $1 million.
Right.
So how does Colin, in particular, who seems to be sensitive to these issues, how does he react? What does he say to you?
Well, Colin works next door to his old house. So.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So he sees it every day?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
Yeah. But he didn't really express anything. I let my kids say whatever they want to say or how they feel about things. There's therapy and all those kind of things, too. They haven't really said anything. They're not surprised,
They're not?
No.
Disappointed? Angry?
A little upset that they didn't get to do a walkthrough.
It's their house,
Yeah,
right?
that's
The
where
one
they grew
in.
up. Correct.
Mary and Kara, what, 21 now?
They'll be 21 in October.
And as a dad, are you able to follow your kids on social media? I mean, Maddie's got a pretty active TikTok account.
Yeah, I see Maddie on TikTok and whatever, and you got PR and people send you things, and Facebook and Instagram, people are sending me things through messaging and all this stuff. Yeah, so I do keep track of my kids through social media, and I think that's the norm. I think back in the day, it was difficult, how am I going to get in touch with them or how am I going to see them? Yeah. But with social media and the way it's integrated into adolescents' lives, it's just so much easier to see those kind of things.
Well, since you bring it up, I'm going to ask you a question I get asked most often about you. People see you, you sound so rational, you have a great job, you ask questions like, hey, my calf hurts me, am I going to die?
Yeah.
Which actually saves your life.
Yeah.
So you're competent.
Yes.
We've all grown to know you for most of your adult life, probably now at this point. Why don't you just call them? Why don't you IM them? Why don't you use the 50 different ways you could get in touch with human beings right now to say, I'm here for you if you need me. I don't want to bother you, but I'm here if you need me. And I want you to make sure that you know this without any question. I'll always love you for the rest of my life.
I hear what you're saying, and I've done all those things. So, like I said before, I'm welcoming them back into our house, and they're willing to come or reach out or anything like that. But I'm more putting it on them because I've reached out and given the olive branch. Now, I can't explain half the things I did in the past or why I did things, but maybe those are table conversations we can have in person. But I'm opening my house in open arms, and if they're willing to come. Maybe I should have fought as hard as like Hannah wanted to live with me, but she was just more stoic in her decision making. maybe the others needed a bigger voice. Maybe I should have stepped up at that point, or said, "Hey, you're not going. If you don't want to go home, it's just." And I did that, but then some like move, and then some stay, and then you're in contempt, and all these things happen, and then so maybe I should have been a stronger voice at the time, but I was fearful for myself and being in contempt and in a financial struggle, because that weighs heavy on you. When you're going against someone who's a millionaire versus, you're going to work every day. And fear plays a big part in that. Like, okay, what's best for them? What's best for me? How am I going to maintain a household if I have to spend all this money to go to court to fight for them? Who's going to stay? And like, it's not just one person. You're dealing with 8 different lives, all the time. So
I always enjoy having you on. I think you force us to ask difficult questions of ourselves, which is why America cares about you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck to you.
I appreciate that too.
Your health and with your mind.
Thank you.